Good evening, good afternoon from wherever you are. We want to thank you for watching Uganda Crossroads and Campfire Television. We also again thank you for always being part of our programs that, today we started with Diaspora Table Talk. It's now going to be airing every after 2 weeks. So Uganda Crossroads, we always come up here, discuss different issues, and we thank you so much for always being part of us. Now, last week, it was a week of independence for Uganda. Of course, many other countries celebrated with us. And of course, we don't remember that there's some opposition members who went to Sarajoy where the general or official independence celebrations were. And the others who opposed what really happened. So those are some of the things. Now, you may be asking me, who was that person? Who are those people who are there in Sarajoy that belong to the opposition side of Uganda? So those are the things we're going to be looking into. Now, we also remember that Honorable Robert Chagulanyi, the People Power principal, the president of People Power movement, had a concert that was organized on the same day of the independence, and it never happened, despite the fact that he did do rehearsals with the friends and all that. These are some of the things that we're going to look into, but of course, we cannot forget our economy, how and when we expect it to be better, because every single day people are complaining that, well, the infrastructure is bad, but the government says the infrastructure is good. We also may be having some breaking news from General Henry Tumukunde. All that, the house is full. Sarajoy Bakanas is already in here. Richard Myombi is already in here. So I want to thank you so much again for coming. Don't forget to share, like, and send in comments or even direct messages so that we can have a discussion together. Let me go and meet these guys. Guys, first of all, I want to thank you. And to me, this week was great. I don't know much about your weeks, but your days, but I want to start with the ladies first. Okay. So I'll start with Sarajoy. Sarah, this week was great in two ways. One, we had the Independence Day, and something that is not political was about Rema and Kenzo and Hamza Sebunya. Oh, that was the drama of the week. So it made news, and of course the concert of Honorable Woman. But let me ask you, how was your week?
Amazing.
Your week was amazing. Richard, how was your week?
So.
Okay, so for you it was 50-50. Mine was fantastic because, I enjoyed the drama that happened, especially on the Independence Day. And not in a good way or in a bad way, but I was just, again, 50-50, just as Richard said. So those are the things that happen every day, and we really do appreciate that. But let's start straight away on the key issue that happened. Uganda celebrated 57 years of independence. And the number of people who came up to say, well, we don't deserve this kind of celebration. We don't need to celebrate independence. And others are saying it is worth it. In other words, even in Dubai, the Ugandan flag was raised, meaning the international community is following up on the issues that are happening in Uganda. So I want to start with Sarah. Sarah, the Independence Day, was it worth it to be celebrated?
What are you celebrating? After 57 years of
democracy.
You don't have any democracy in Uganda for starters, but for you to celebrate independence right now in Uganda, when Uganda largely, almost 99% is dependent on other countries. Look at most of the roads in Uganda have been built by the European Union or the Development Bank. You have the World Bank coming in, and then you have China that is coming to build some of the roads, of which those are all loans that Ugandans have to pay back. So Uganda as a country, there is nothing independent about Uganda, and there is nothing why they are celebrating anything. Just give me, we don't have any factory that is that you would say this is owned. This is either maybe owned by the government. We don't. Everything has really gone down. The economy has gone down. It's really bad. Institutions are dead. Hospitals, you have poor service delivery. Talk about schools. UPE is all gone and dead. The kids that come out of UPE can barely read and write. So we shouldn't be wasting any money celebrating anything. And it was so absurd that Uganda had to waste millions and millions of money to go and pay the Dubai for them to have the flag raised because it wasn't free of charge. They paid money.
But the management from Dubai said they didn't pay. They normally do that for different countries.
I've read one of the articles on social media, on one of the articles in the papers, that they paid money. They paid money to have the flag being raised.
The claim is they paid 900.
Yeah. But at this point, they will do anything because at the rate at which they waste money on so many things, because you look at so many things happening in Uganda, because even after getting 2 bombardiers, before they could see how they are functioning and how, you know, they're bringing in revenue or which routes they are taking, why are you bringing 2 more bombardiers when you do not know even the 2 you have, how they are functioning? Or how, you know, they're wasting, they just love wasting money in all possible ways. But I don't think Ugandans should be celebrating anything. And I was glad that Rema and Hamza's, you know, Kuchala happened, that it distracted Ugandans from all that nonsense, because at the end of the day, it took up the day. And, you know, at the end of the day, no one was talking about the celebration, because I saw one of the interviews on social media. One reporter was interviewing the guy about independence and saying, oh, what do you remember about independence? Then the guy was saying, oh, you know, the matters should be remembered. The guy was talking about the Uganda matters because he said, oh, they did a lot for Uganda, they should be remembered. So Ugandans don't even know what independence is, because they don't live in a state of independence. So.
All right. So, Richard, to you, you know, we're going to dig deep into this independence thing, because there's so many things that happen from both opposition and those in position. What came into your minds when Uganda was celebrating 57 years of independence?
I never wanted them to celebrate independence. I'm going to give you one of the quotes that I saw in the paper this week. I was seeing on the Monitor News Uganda the picture of these Musas. Musas, they used to hold banners. And they were going on advocating for the independence of Uganda. People don't know what independence is and how it began. But I'll read you a few things, then we go from there. The origin of the struggle for Uganda's independence began in 1940, when the Ugandans staged various demonstrations against colonial rule, objecting to economic exploitation. That's where I'm only going to focus. That's how the struggle for independence of Uganda in 1940, so that Ugandans could be economically free, independent. Because what was the reason for advocating for independence? The Indians had control of the economy. The British had control of everything. Everything that was produced in Uganda, a Ugandan could be given a price and things would be taken away on a very small percentage of which the farmer was getting. And then it would be taken overseas and then it would be sold. That was the struggle for independence, so that Uganda are economically free, politically free, socially free, so that they are self-governing themselves. That was the origin of the independence. Today, if you look at Museveni, what he has done in Uganda with his socialist ideas in Uganda today, you're not even allowed to socialize with any other person unless the DPC gives you permission. You're not supposed to get a contract to benefit in your country. You are not supposed to do anything that you are benefiting as a Ugandan. The hospitals, the electricity in Uganda belong to the ruling government. Everything is against the ordinary Ugandan. And then you say that we are going to celebrate independence? No. We have to fight for a new independence.
So you were on the opposition side, and the opposition was also organizing a parade celebration at Najjanankumbi. FDC was organizing. And that is what actually brought in all the controversy, why the Secretary General for the party, FDC, was seen in Sironko celebrating with the NRM government. Honorable Damboza came out and disagreed with what Nandala Mafabi did. So you guys are in the opposition, and you are going to celebrate something you don't believe in. What does that mean? Let me start with Sarah.
You know, there are so many people on the opposition leaders that are really as confused as so many Ugandans, and they leave so many Ugandans in a confused state because of their actions. Because if you've been, what are you celebrating for in the first place? Because there is nothing really to celebrate. And but I want to pick up one thing that happened on the 9th of October. As Uganda was celebrating their independence, or they are being dependent on other countries, Rwanda was launching their smartphone assembling plant. Rwanda was launching a smartphone assembling plant on the same day. And what does that tell you? Rwanda when you look at countries that are around us, because when you look at Rwanda and the genocide they had about maybe 20 years ago or 18, 15 years ago, Rwanda is moving at a faster rate in terms of development. They've even started assembling phones in Rwanda, of which Uganda, after 57 years, we cannot even make safety pins in Uganda. So it's because we have to compare ourselves now and then to our neighboring countries to see how they're faring or how they're doing economically, you know, compared to us. So it is, I don't want even to take the Mafabi issue seriously, because if you look at the things that have been happening in Uganda in terms of active politics, Mafabi is so kind of relaxed. You see, some of these politicians, you can tell, you know, when someone is either tired or they've run their game or they've relaxed or they've been paid off. You used to see Munyagwa. One time I even had to ask, is Munyagwa still in parliament? Until when I saw him on Kokasa, something like that, one of the committees. What happened to Munyagwa? Munyagwa is one now of the dormant politicians, yet he used to be vibrant.
Maybe he's busy in his office, because now it's chairman of Kosase, so he could be busy doing the activities.
There's no activity. You know, most of their activities are broadcasted, and we get to see them because there are committees where they're discussing either you know, issues that have been not going right, transparencies and all that. Munyagwa's been dormant. Even fighting for the people, because he comes from one of the congested urban areas that has a lot of issues. That is the Kawempe South.
But let me take you back, Sarah, to the issue of the independence in terms of the opposition setting up a parallel function. And the Secretary General, Ndala Mafabi, misses it, which actually pissed off Honorable Betty Namboise, who is a member of the People's Government. Now, what does that mean to you? That the opposition is now trying to play a good game with the government in power, or is it that Ndala Mafabi was just showing his patriotism?
What is patriotic? What is patriotic? Because if you go back and see, Ndala Mafabi at a certain point was really fighting to see, you know, some of they had, you know, he comes from an area where they are growing a lot of coffee, and he was trying to see that are some of the coffee unions would be resurrected in these areas because they were completely dying off, and he was not able to succeed because you can't do that with the help of government. And at a certain point in time, government has fought Ndala Mafabi with all, you know, with most of the things he was trying to do, especially to better his area. So I think it's a mockery, and people trying to, you know, it's really, really absurd. And I would agree with Nambozi. What was Mafabi celebrating? If I'm going to throw back that question to him, after 57 years of President Museveni in power, what is Mafabi celebrating?
All right. So, Richard.
So let me
start from here. Mm-hmm. The opposition has done a great job, and you were former supporter of FDC. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty much sure that you liked the likes of Mafabi and others. In 2017, Mukasambide celebrated with the NRM against Independence Time, and you guys from FDC came up to say he was a sellout. Did he sell out other members of opposition this time?
Let me put it on record. I support the opposition for only one person, by then who was there, who was my close friend even to this day, Kizza Besigye. For the record, I'm just putting it straight. There's nothing more I need from FDC except because the reason I was supporting this man, he had come out straight as a freedom fighter. It's him that has brought us this far where we have reached. That's why the rest, I'm not concerned about them, for the record. But I'm going to take you back to the independence. The reason why we have to fight for a new independence for Uganda, which is people power, that's why I'm supporting people power to get a new independence for Uganda. I'm just quoting on that again, Monitor. They said they objected to the manipulative pricing of the cash crops that did not give the deserved benefit. Such a bold and courageous face up against the colonial ruler later metaphors political agitation leading to the formation of various political parties and all agitating for self-rule. Self-rule. The people who fought the Musas, who were beaten by the colonial masters, who went to jail, including my father. My father was one of the people who fought for independence of Uganda. They went to jail for self-rule. Is Uganda under self-rule today? It's one political party system, the NRM.
Which is led by
Yoweri Museveni.
Who is a Ugandan?
We came out of colonialism to worst colonialism. Because the first colonialism, at least you could see things that were being built for the Ugandan to benefit, like the dam, the Uganda Electricity Dam in Jinja, that the roads, like things. But the new colonialism of Mr. Museveni is manipulating to take to their own benefit, their own stomach, their own children, everything that belongs to Uganda today is being taken by them, or is being invested, or being outsourced, or being sold, or mortgaged to other countries. There is no self-rule in Uganda. We have to fight for a new independence. That's why I'm supporting people power today. Self-rule.
Okay, so you are supporting people power today because you don't see any independence, and we know that the president of Uganda is a Ugandan. Yeah. I'm not going to say that he's from
He's not Ugandan. For the record, he's not Ugandan. It's me saying, not you. He's not Ugandan.
All right, so
for the record.
Let's get back to the Independence Day, and I want to. The reason I'm focusing on that day is because there are like 3 major events that happened. Apart, the third one was, of course, in the entertainment industry. But I don't want us to go deep into that. Let's look into Bobby Wine's concept of Busabala.
One of the most disappointing things I've ever had from a police officer was, I don't know if he's a spokesperson of the police.
Fred Enanga.
I think that was Fred Enanga. I was really disappointed in Fred Enanga when he made a statement that Bobby Wine could not, the fact that he's political or he's part of the political system in Uganda, then basically he was insinuating that Bobby Wine ceases to be a musician because he's involved in politics. But Museveni we see him one time, we've seen him getting involved he's in politics of Uganda, but he's involved largely in the music industry in Uganda. You've heard the Impenkoni song, Museveni has released music. So why is Museveni allowed to do music? Recorded music, you saw in his previous campaign, music was played from, some of the songs were recorded that were used in the campaign. And at the same time, he continues to go for political shows. You saw him recently in Kolo, that was the Patriotics Day. Then you've seen him at all the music shows of Kusasira, of Bebe Cool. And we've seen musicians largely, the likes of Bebe Cool are largely involved in politics, and they're allowed to do music. So it is so really sad that for a spokesperson of the police to clearly show Ugandans that they are no longer non-partisan, they support a particular individual and police clearly, because when you speak to the police, you represent the entire police. They've shown us that they support President Museveni. They are not serving Ugandans. They're not working for.
Because the commander-in-chief of the country.
No, but it doesn't. As police, you're supposed, you're supposed to be non-partisan. You're supposed to serve every Ugandan, no matter which capacity they stand in, whether they are opposition, whether they are government. That's what police is supposed to do. The other time we had, I've had statements, so many statements from armed officers. You've heard the Minister Muhwezi. It's not Muhwezi.
We have Eli Tumwine, we have...
that is Eli Tumwine. You've had the Minister Eli Tumwine. Whatever is coming out of him. The other day was on a political program where he mentioned that the Red People Power is a rebel movement. It's a terrorist, not even rebel, he said it's a terrorist movement. Coming from someone who is a member of parliament and a minister at the same time, it is really absurd. What is their plan? Are they planning, because when you have terrorists, what do? You kill them and wipe them out. So is their intention really intended to kill and wipe out Ugandans? So it was very absurd hearing that from Enanga. And then when I heard that, I knew the event was not going to happen. But why did I start from there? Because when someone who wears the uniform, someone who has who is supposed to be non-partisan, someone who is supposed to provide law and order, because some of the excuses they were giving that they are going to be in Sironko, they don't have enough security officers, you know, to keep law and order at Bobi Wine's concert. For God's sake, how many police officers do we have in the country? We have almost 60,000, so all the 60,000 police officers were in Sironko. But you see, the most controversial and stupid things they did was if you don't have the police officers to guard Bobi Wine's show, the police officers that were put to man Bobi Wine's home, and those that were put in Usabala, and those who were all over town running after him, were enough to man Bobi Wine's show and him performing and make sure there is law and order at that concert. Just imagine, how many cars did you see at Bobi Wine's home? About 3-4 cars. How many roadblocks did they put at his place? A number of them. You saw what happened in Busabala. About a number of cars there, police officers there, the police officers that were running after Bobi Wine in Kampala. Let's say let's say they were able to deploy about 50 or 100. Did Bobi Wine need 50 or 100 policemen at his show? Definitely not. Maybe 20 would have been enough. But at the end of the day, I do not know. They always keep doing the non-smart things all the time, because if you say you don't have enough officers for you to be able to provide law and order to Bobi Wine's concert, and at the same time you've deployed all these officers just to stop him from having a concert, then it's really absurd. But police, they must remember they're also Ugandans. And I'm telling you, when I look at the things Enanga is saying and the way he's behaving, it takes me back to the times of Kaihura. There's this other guy who ran to South Africa, I'm forgetting the name, the police officer who was unwanted, who came out and claimed they were going to kill him anytime. He's in South Africa right now. But he was... Bakaleke. Bakaleke was something in Kampala. He used, you remember, if you saw the statement where Muntu told him, you know what? Your time is coming. These guys forget they're Ugandans, because I do not know how Enanga is going to look maybe tomorrow or the other day when the law comes after him. The law is being protected.
He was following the orders from above.
No, but the orders, we get it. It can be orders from above, but you're supposed to be non-partisan. And you see, at the end of the day, what happened with Bobi Wine, them trying to arrest him, and people in the central district of Kampala protecting him, and him being able to be whisked away on a border, overshadowed what happened. Apart from, I'm telling you, I do not know what happened in Sironko.
All right,
because all the news about Bobi Wine and the rest that happened overshadowed everything.
There is a narrative that there is an increasing hypocrisy within, especially the people we think that are good supporters of the People Power movement. On that day, I actually received a call from somebody, and we were just interacting. And somebody said, why is it that people are not in position to protect Honorable Bobi Wine rather than running and flying over the motorbike and, why didn't people try to protect him?
They protected him. What did you see? You have eyes. What did you see? What happened? The police, the border riders at, I don't know whether that place was, it was downtown, that was Chiseka. That was Chiseka. That was around Chiseka Market. They did an amazing job. They protected him. You saw the police officers running after him, and the guys kind of guarded around him, and there's the border ready on standby. He jumped on it, and the guy tried to run after him, but he was being able to be whisked away. All right. Ugandans, I'm telling you, most of the Ugandans are understanding what's happening, and they are willing, and people, and the information about people, knowing what they want and being able to fight for what they want. This information has sunk in so many people's heads. And people, especially in the urban areas, especially the central district, these are people who have really suffered most from this government. They have laws that are really, they suffer from laws that are not working. They suffer from really, because these are mostly people who are doing business around Kampala, and they're trying to survive around Kampala. So the border riders, I give them kudos. Thank you so much. All the people who were around the place. It must have been Chiseka. I don't know. I don't think that was mini price. It must have been around Chiseka. We need to respect those guys. They did a good job, because we didn't want Bobi Wine to be arrested, because whenever he's arrested, he's not treated in a very manly way. All right.
So remembering, Richard, days before the concert, or days before the Independence Day, Bobi Wine was rehearsing, and he promised Ugandans that there was going to be a concert, which did not take place. Now the question is, do you think Bobi Wine has enough support and enough credibility to be the next leader if he cannot make his concert come to pass? and you know, it was stopped by police, and just that, and we didn't see anything going on.
Let me first give you the record again on monitor. It says the Uganda Communication Commission has found Kampala-based broadcasters in breach of minimum broadcasting standards and asked them to show why their license shouldn't be revoked.
Yeah, because
that's the media. That's the government, Uganda Telecommunication Commission. Because if you look at all the years that we are in Uganda, they had a board. Now it's one man that is in control. Now they are going to block because the media alone, for Honorable Chagwa. Now you say that if he cannot work in Busabala, he cannot be the leader.
Can he be a president?
Okay, now, do you agree with me that there is no democracy in Uganda? Yes. Do we have to fight for it? Yes. What is Bobby Wine doing? What am I doing? What is she doing? What everyone doing? We are fighting for democracy. We shall not get to power unless we fight to power. We are not going to get power on a silver plate. There are people that are going to go on the streets and capture power. Let me tell you, I know these terms, you always tell me here about socialism and communism and all these things. In a socialist system, because this is where people don't understand these things. In Museveni's 10-point program, there is a word, socialism. If you have socialism as the blueprint of the failed Uganda you see, as the constitution that you see in Uganda, we can never defeat and take power when we have socialism. When the police is under the control of the president, when the army is under the control of the president, when the economy is under the control of the president, when the land is under the control of the president, the people, if you look at the examples of the countries that have overcome communism, Soviet Union, Czechoslovakia, Romania, all these Western Europe countries, the people had to rise up. The reason they fear this man, he has the mandate to capture power from and he's going to take it. He's going to take it.
So that answers my question.
Yes, he's going to take it. The moment we take back our power, we the people who made Uganda, who are from Uganda, the moment we take, then we shall exercise our democracy from right there and on forever.
But yeah,
he'll take it.
You asked a question, does Bobby Wine have the potential?
To become a president, I'm picking from what actually...
He's credible. When you look at if we need a president, who do we want? We need, at this point in time in Uganda, we need someone who has no dirt, who is not dirty, who has not been involved in corruption, who has been not involved in human rights abuse, who has not been involved in so many things that are not progressing and helping Ugandans. When it comes to that, Bobby Wine is thick. We don't have him in this kind of corruption. And again, when we look at Ugandans and the population of Uganda, where you have 75% of Ugandans are below the age of 30 or 35, and you have the largest population of Uganda, almost 85% are youth, when you add on even those who are 40 plus, then it is I think it's not very intelligent for a man who is in his 70s or 80s to continue ruling people who are from completely 2-3 generations younger than him. I think when leaders grow, even human beings, when you grow, you get to a stage where your ability to function, your ability to think better ceases to function, in a certain way. We need a young leader who is going to understand the problems of current Ugandans. The problems of Uganda right now cannot, because when Museveni, even after Ugandans have risen up, you see on social media or you see whatever is happening, Museveni, even up to now, he's not understanding the problems of Ugandans. Because when we talk of poor service delivery, he would have been, if really Museveni wanted to do better and show Ugandans that is improving a lot, a bit even before 2021, we should see, Museveni should be able to go and tour some of these hospitals and see the conditions in which Ugandans are being treated in or they're staying in. There are videos that have come in Mulago. Recently, there's a picture that came from the Cancer Institute in Mulago, where cancer patients were sleeping outside These are cancer patients, already their immunity is low, but they sleep outside because they don't have money to go to and fro back from their homes to come back and receive treatment. He should be able to go to Chirudu and see the condition. You know, the picture, the photos that came on social media of the babies, newborn babies that were put outside, you know, because the entire hospital doesn't have oxygen. That was in Kawempe. Museveni should have been there. He has ministers. What is the work of the ministers? The ministers should be able. We've not, ever since that picture came out, there is no, the Minister of Health should have been in that area to assess the situation. What is the problem? When Ugandans talk about service delivery, they want those things to be done.
I actually, when those pictures came out, I tried to contact one of the guys from the government back in Uganda. And the answer I got was that was Photoshop.
No, it wasn't Photoshop. That wasn't Photoshop. Those pictures were real. So it is, so even the patients cancer patients in Mulago, that was Photoshop as well. The ladies that were sleeping outside the Cancer Institute in Mulago, should we just assume they were tired, they were taking a nap by the roadside? So it is really, really absurd. And you see, that's the problem, is if you claim, if you sit behind your desk and claim it's Photoshop, why don't you go on ground and tell us what is happening? I've read a certain article from Opio, Nicholas Opio, of a friend who lost, he found a guy in Chirudu, a guy who lost a relative, because they had run out of oxygen. How many cases have we seen of people? Recently, Tamale Mirundi lost his daughter when she was having an operation. We've had people who have lost their lives because there is no blood in hospitals. So when you get on stock of service delivery, there are things that are basic they are looking at, not even the most complicated thing. When you're talking of we don't have basic things in hospital, yet in a very short period of time, money was passed for the Lubuurwa hospital and money disappeared. Up to this time, I was shocked to hear Madam Kadaga talking of we are going to investigate where the money went. When it was clear, because they do things in such a hurry, because the money was paid to a company that deals in furniture in Dubai. You mean before they handed out that money, couldn't they do research to know who is taking this money, where is it going? So when Uganda says we need proper service delivery, Museveni, because when you see, tell me, what backing does Museveni have for 2021? How is he going to campaign? What is he going to do? Because he has lived, when you look at the last campaign, all it was promises to Ugandans. What has he done from that particular time? He promised, Dr. Stella Nyanzi right now is in Luzira because she stood up and demanded for the sanitary pads. Museveni promised, you know, Ugandan kids during campaign.
The claim, actually, you've talked about Dr. Stella Nyanzi. I never wanted, you're going to come back. Their claim is that she used the V word, and that's
it doesn't matter. You see, Stella Nyanzi is she's a doctor, but she's a doctor in sexology. I think that's what they call it. She used her statement were metaphors that were used to express the pain. You know, I think if she had written just simple English, that she wouldn't even, people would not understand. But she used words that would make the message be delivered home, because those are the words leaders, you know, that trigger the leaders to wake up. She used strong words, but they were metaphors meant to anyone who had common sense. It was even wrong putting Stella Nyanzi in jail. If it was President Museveni or any of his advisors, they would have called Stella Nyanzi and say, hey, Madam Stella Nyanzi, what did you mean? If they didn't understand. Because I think they put him in prison because they didn't understand. Because they say he always spouted obscenity to the president. Yeah. But did they understand the message? They didn't understand what they were talking about. Let me go back. As Ugandans need service delivery, there are so many things Ugandans are asking for. Ugandans are asking for, there is rampant unemployment. But rampant unemployment, where does it come from? As Ugandans, as the country is growing, we would have been having growth of factories, growth of where Ugandans can find an unemployment. But you have, parents have done their job. Parents have taken their kids through university, so many degrees. I'm telling you, you have so many university degrees riding border borders, and border right now is no longer safe, because, you know, someone is going to say border is a job. Yes, it's a job. People are making money, but it's no longer safe. We are seeing so many young brothers and sisters, young people losing their lives on borders. You get a border today, tomorrow you're hit on the head. We've seen videos of people being murdered on borders. So it is even unsafe. Even when you say, you know what, I have my degree, I can't find a job, let me go and ride border. It is very hard and it is very risky even doing border right now in Uganda, because you could lose your life anytime. So Ugandans, I'm looking at what is he going to say in 2021.
Right,
what
so,
is this campaign? What is this campaign strategy? Apart from either making promises, apart from intimidating, because he knows. Exactly. Bobi Wine doesn't have to write a manifesto. Bobi Wine knows everything that has failed in Uganda, whether with a manifesto or not. And Ugandans know what has failed. Because Bobi Wine has to ride on that, on everything that has failed in Uganda, and say, this is what we are going to do better. Right. So what himself is going to tell Ugandans? Because when you look at the 2016 campaign, even the campaigns prior to that, he has lied to Ugandans and nothing has been done.
Right,
even
guys,
simple sanitary towels, at least they would have done. Let me finish up a little bit. The little,
I'm going to cut you off because we have some breaking news right now.
No, let me finish up this point. You see, the simplest thing, and I put up a post on social media about this, the simplest thing they would have done is, if you do not have money to provide the sanitary pads, work with organizations that are helping young people make reusable sanitary pads. I've seen the caring hearts of Babi Chagulanyi and some of the local-based organizations. Work with them, let them train and teach these girls in schools how to make the reusable sanitary pads. It will save a lot, because you're not going to spend money. What you're going to spend money is on the materials to make. Buy a needle, buy the materials that are needed to make usable sanitary towels, and then train these girls on when you use it, how do you clean it, how do you keep them safe. It is simple, it is cheaper, you don't need money. Stella Nyan should not be in Luzira right now over things that can be solved if people had common sense and used it.
We're going to come back on the issue of the LGBTI that has to be reintroduced, and you guys will give me your take. But let's start with the breaking news that has just come in. We have just learned that General Henry Tumukunde, who is also planning to campaign or even become the mayor of Kampala City, has warned all his campaigning agents that starting 2021 or even before during the campaigning time, he will not need to see any of his campaigning agents going to Chankwanzi. Now, what we have received is just information that is just leaked. It's nowhere on social media, nowhere in the mainstream media in Uganda. It is just here, only on Campfire television. And so, I want to guys take you down there to General Tumukunde's decision. Is the general trying to go away from the NRM? Because what we got is that he has cautioned all his campaigning agents that we don't want to see you in the Chankwas getting handouts. What does that mean to you guys? If I start with Richard.
But let me tell you, what is Tumukunde going to come to do? Let's be fair. Let's be fair. Uganda has not reached a point where Tumukunde is coming. Is he coming to continue with the same political system that is oppressing us? Because it's like a change of guards. Tumukunde, though, does not agree with Museveni. He's part of the old guards and he's just going on to change. And let me tell you for the record, I don't know if you know exactly Tumukunde, because I know him very well. I don't want to talk here. The reason why Tumukunde is so much involved in the political affairs of the country now, he has so much root. He wants to save his skin for the next generation that is coming. That's why he's so much involved in the politics. He wants to show a good face, but to continue with the same system. I don't think Tumukunde is ready.
Not even being ready.
What we gathered is that he asked all his agents from actually, we still want to reserve the place where they were until they come up to disclaim or say that they don't know about this information. Then we release it to the public to read and see the number of people who are there, the youth who are there, where they were and what time and which date. So we don't want to release it right now, but what we know right now is that he said that he doesn't want to see any of his agents in Chankwanzi. What does that tell you?
And put me on record, Tumukunde will lose Kampala. He's, you know, it's easy to play voters in villages, but it's hard to play voters in urban and semi-urban areas because, first of all, they are more conversant with what is going on in the country. When you look at Eddie Tumukunde has been involved in so many corruption scandals. So there's nothing better is going to add on to the people of Kampala, because I don't think any politician who has been involved in any scandals should not even, or any person or individual should not even come or think of coming to be elected in any political position, because already you're dented. And these scandals, what is he gonna do? He's been involved in corruption scandals. He's coming to do in Kampala apart from stealing and making people of Kampala miserable? So I don't want even to waste my time on him. He has because I'm seeing people coming up who are gonna who want to stand for mayor of Kampala in a number of positions. I've given my opinion on some of them and said this, but Tumukunde should not waste time.
All right, so we should
let me add on here.
Yeah, finish up and then go to the anti-LGBT committee, right?
I'm going to give you the background of the conflict of Uganda.
I'm giving 1 second,
okay,
and finish up on that.
Kampala is the key #1 problem of the country. I don't know if you know the history of Uganda. I don't have so much time here because you could give me 1 minute. And I'm going to give you a resolution for this country. Ethiopia is in the news even all this week. I don't know if you're going to talk about Ethiopia, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia.
Well,
they were going to expand one of the areas to take out people's land that it is in Kampala to extend. And there were demonstrations that so many people lost their lives and all the prisons were full until they had to get the right person in power. Oromio, I think it's Oromio, and put him in power. Do you know what has happened in Ethiopia? Not even 2 years. Everything has become normal. All the censorship in the media has gone. All the land has gone back to the people. All the restrictions on everything, it has become normal. Every Ethiopian is celebrating. They had to change one leader. The moment we change Museveni, all these Tumukunde will not come. Kampala belongs to where it's supposed to be. Kampala belongs to Uganda. That's the conflict. It's the political system of the country, and Kampala to Uganda, like it, yes or not. That is how we are going to solve the problem of this country forever.
All right, so I want to get you close to, recently this week we reported that the government of Uganda is now again bringing back the anti-gay bill. But this time it's a little bit tight because it involves death penalties, and they will be arresting people close to the gay, to the lesbians, to all that. Now, the reason I brought up this story is because it is two-way. One, somebody may see it as previously Honorable Chagulanyi disagreed with the LGBTI community in the past, but now he knows what it means for human rights. Don't you think the government is trying to create a situation where it will be hard for him to decide where he belongs?
You saw, as watching Eddie Tumine's interview where he said, you know, this Red Movement is a rebel, is a terrorist group, and it is sponsored by the LGBT, or it is partly, you know, LGBTQ is part of it. But I think, first of all, the LGBT community is not the problem of Uganda. You see, we have, I do not know who advises Museveni and his team. The LGBT community has never been the problems of Uganda. It is none of the problems of Uganda. So for them to put their energy and time on things that are completely do not better the lives of the 40 million Ugandans, it is completely unfair. You may find you do not even have 1 million LGBTQ people in Uganda. So why waste time on things that do not better the development of the country, that do not provide medicine in hospitals, that do not provide employment to Ugandans, that do not help, you know, people get better? They are, you know, and at the same time, because they know the topic, you know, when you go to the LGBTQ community, you cause a lot of international or media quotation, you know, media to yourself, because that's one of the biggest human rights violation human rights activists look at. I was watching already, when you look at, you know, the media in the USA, it is already writing about it. It's already writing about, you know, that are now, you know, LGBTQ, if they find you, you're going to be, the penalty is death. Of which, yes, I think the government of Uganda wants to be again in the media, or they want sanctions to be put on them by the international community, because international communities respect human rights. But we are focusing on the wrong things. If Museveni had put up a law that is going to, every person caught corrupt is going to be killed, that is a law. That is kudos, because the biggest problem of Uganda is, one, we have people who are corrupt and they're still in broad daylight. Why don't we put up a law that, you know, every person or those associated with people who are corrupt are going to be either put them on a firing squad, you know, shoot them, whatever you want to do to them, do it to them. But the LGBTQ community is among the least. It is not even a part of any problems Ugandans are facing right now.
Let's look at it this way, and I want to bring in Richard at this moment. Richard, the government knows very well that the current main opposition leader, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, at one time did not support the community, but now he understands that human rights are very important. So don't you think they're putting the honorable or the potential president coming up at a very high stake to decide whether he's going to start to support the policy or the bill into law or not?
Yes, exactly. You are right. Let me tell you what Ofono Pondo wrote. I saw what Ofono Pondo wrote. He said that the government is a government spokesman, or spokesperson. He says the government is not going to introduce the bill. But if you look at what Eli Tumine, who sits on the cabinet and the high command, says that people power is associated with the LGBT. Why? First of all, to discredit the people of Uganda. Honorable Kyagulanyi is going to bring the homosexuals and legalize them in Uganda. Or the second thing, they are going to make sure that he loses an opportunity of support of the Western countries.
Who loses the support of the Western countries?
Because they want to get his opinion there. That's exactly the way you said. They have put him in a fix. Is he going to support and then lose credit in Uganda, or is going to support to get credit overseas, and then it's a political move that they're planning, the way to defeat Honorable Kyagulanyi?
No, but I think one of the things we should give Honorable Kyagulanyi is extremely smart and intelligent. Human rights is human rights. Every Ugandan, every person, individual in their capacity, whatever they want to do is still a human being, and they deserve, human rights should be protected. I think even if the arm twist Honorable Kyagulanyi, he will be able to answer that, and he will answer that and he will pass it with flying colors. He's a very intelligent man. He knows when he's arm twisted and knows when to answer such questions. Right. Because I don't see anywhere where they are going to discuss, because if their issue is they want to see how Bobi Wine is going to answer questions in terms of the LGBT community when it comes to the, to the Western world, every person deserves to be treated the same, no matter who they are. We live in a country right now. For example, I have seen situations I've never seen anywhere. A woman had a cat went into the roof. I was surprised. The police drove through, there was an ambulance, there was the fire brigade. And I was wondering, what is happening? Has someone died? Are they picking up someone? Is someone having an emergency? They had all come down to retrieve a cat that was stuck in the roof. So if we live, this is a country, we live in countries, the Western world respects every right of every individual, whether it's an animal or whether it's a person, whether you're lame, whether you're tall, whether you're LGBT. And again, Uganda is focusing on the wrong things. We are focusing at this time, if the distraction is to see how Kyagulanyi is going to answer that because they want to distract him in the Western world, they are very wrong. I think he's very smart. He has done that mistake before, and he knows, because Kyagulanyi knows he needs the support of the Western world. And you can handle every situation the way it comes. He knows how to answer those questions, because at the end of the day, you have LGBT in Uganda, whether you wipe them or not. Because, for example, I'll tell you, if I go and do business in my bedroom with a same-sex person, if I don't tell you, will you know?
No.
You will not know. So whether they fight them or not, people will still be there. But at the end of the day, respect people's sexual orientation, so long as it's not affecting you. But it's not the problem in Uganda. I don't want us even to dwell on the LGBTQ community, because it is completely none of the problems of Uganda. The things we are suffering from, the LGBTQ community in Uganda is not the problem why my mom cannot find medicine when she goes to hospital. It's not the problem why she cannot get why people in Uganda sleep without a meal. It's not the problem why graduates study, finish university, and they cannot have jobs. It's not the problem why women are dying in delivery. It is not the problem why you don't have blood in the hospitals. It is not the problems why politicians are corrupt. On a daily basis, they are stealing money that is meant to do things that are supposed to develop Uganda. It is completely none of. Let me ask you one thing. Do we have any politicians or people involved in theft and corruption who is LGBTQ?
We have not had.
So what is the problem?
All right, so what is
it? Last week you said about something, because this is minor. There's something you said last week. You said that this week we are going to be debating how we people power are going to, like us, political analysts, how we are going to capture power using an election.
And that's where I was going as towards the end of the show. So let's get there. Okay. Let's get there, because that's what my next
let's begin here. Let's begin.
What are you guys going to do?
Let's begin here. It's two ways. It's two ways. In 2011, because of the too much lobbying that was done in the United States of America, Congress instructed by the then Secretary of State of America, it's on record, I have it here. I would have sent it to you and you would have seen it. They instructed her to make sure that they squeeze this man Museveni into power to make a free and fair election, because the election, everyone knows that the election that is being done in Uganda is bogus.
Now the question is, did you guys win?
No. I'm going to tell you what exactly happened in 2011, not 2016. Then the terrorists that struck this, where so many people died, 75 people that died, was it in Lugogo where?
Lugogo area, World Cup, right?
World Cup thing is where the destruction changed. You know, Museveni has been very tricky. As a communist, as a socialist.
So are you?
Yes, I'm telling you, he can do things.
Kind of arguing like President Museveni is smarter than most of the
No, it's not smarter, but he has been using opportunities. Some of them are very dirty. I know these things. I was in them, and I don't want to talk things that are not relevant at this time. But the destruction of Lugogo changed the whole scenario that was in Congress. Now that the world opinion is on Uganda, the world opinion, I'm going to give you an example of how we must focus on the European Union, on the Congress, of lobbying for a free and fair election. I'm going to give you an example. In 1968, when the people of Czechoslovakia were kicking communism and socialism out of their country, Ducek, with the people power, they took over power. But on the same time, there was something else happening. In 1956, there was the Suez War, where the British and the French were taking over the Suez. Remember the 56 war, the Israel-Arab 56 war. That was the destruction that served socialism in there. Now I'm going to give you another opinion. In 1989, when eventually socialism and communism fell in Czechoslovakia, what happened? It was the world opinion and the people on the ground, the people power, that rose up to defeat communism, socialism like Uganda, out of the country. It was the world opinion. Gorbachev was in power. The president who was in here, was he Reagan? Was here. It's how they were defeated. Uganda has the greatest of chances now of defeating this system of government Museveni has entrenched himself with in power. We have to seek the world opinion, force the government of Uganda, sanctions, and demand a free and fair election.
Sanctions?
Yes.
Sanctions, I want to get to,
yes.
I want to bring in Sarah, and you will come back, Richard.
Yes.
Sanctions have left Zimbabwe down up to today. Do you think sanctions can be a solution to Uganda's problems?
It could, but at the same time, I think the most primary solution to Uganda right now, it is the Ugandans. Ugandans, we have to be largely involved in. We should not leave it to Kyagulanyi. We should not leave it all America, because when America comes in, it is going to leave us dismantled. It's going to destroy, and it may take us time to rebuild. Definitely, but definitely they can support if they see that you're on a track to want to obtain or get back the freedom that you deserve. So Ugandans, just like the word has been going around, we've seen now, we've looked at, yes, we have potential and we can take on power, but at the same time, Ugandans, we have to be extremely vigilant. 2021 is going to be extremely tough. Especially we've seen the things that are happening that are you have the police and army largely involved in non-partisan politics, and they've already taken a side. We've seen it. So we have we have to be careful about the Uganda police. We have to be careful about the army because they've shown us their side already. But what I want Ugandans to look at is you have 60,000 police officers. I don't know how many the army has because it could be the same number. Let's say they are 120. They are not going to kill the 40 million Ugandans and fish them all. I know some will die. But at the end of the day, some Ugandans are going to survive. If the issue is the Ugandans, we have to be on the forefront. Because when you look at the electoral system where basically the electoral commission and the officers are selected by President Museveni and they are working for him, they are not working for Ugandans, we might be going to be facing problems when it comes to voter tallying and voter bribery and announcing wrong results. But it will take Ugandans rising up and demanding. This election will not end, the change will not end on the election day.
Let me give you an example. I gave you a quote today in the paper of the Chief Justice of Uganda. Look at the last election of Besigye and Museveni. Total rigging. Look at Kampala, how they did it. You know the Chief Justice, how they did, even in the age limits? They have been siding with Museveni because they have been paid. I know this man very well. He came here and I know the place where he used to sleep. The person who took him to school, Katulebe. Look what happened. You know what has happened to him? You know how he got the last visa to come 3 weeks ago? I gave it to you. What happened?
All right, so
what happened? To get a visa to come to this country, he had to put in effort. They asked him for his marriage license. For the first time, someone who even came to this country and studied here. That's one. All these people whose visas have been suspended to come over to America, it's not going to end there. They are going to be suspended. Their accounts are going to be frozen. Okay, and something else, you don't know what is at stake. The oil in Uganda. If the American government says, Museveni, you have cheated an election, the European Union says you have cheated an election, the oil in Uganda will not, even a drop, will not leave that country.
Right,
what is
different? There's something I want to say, and it's coming from a comment I've read here where someone has mentioned on social media that Americans have a lot to gain from President Museveni. You're wrong. And if you're back home in Uganda and you're losing hope thinking, oh, the Americans or the Western world will not help us, you're wrong. Right now, Museveni is jumping in bed with the Chinese. And I'm telling you, first of all, if you look at the largest, one of the things the American government has done for Uganda is during the time of Kaihura, they put in a lot of money in trying to create structures in the police. And Kaihura, that's why you have sanctions going on Kaihura right now, because he mismanaged what what Americans were trying to create was community policing, of which if you live in the Western world, you see that every community has its own police and people are vigilant. You will not have, and it's really, really easy to monitor and work on. So Kaihura misused that, and the Americans had financed that project to create community policing and create systems and proper ways of manning police. So when you come to right now, what is happening? The biggest budget of the army is financed by the American government. Just because you have, Uganda has been used as the base for, you have the base for UN that sits in Entebbe, and it monitors the CAF, that is the Central Africa, it monitors the Congo, because as we speak, we still have issues in Congo. You have CONI still out there in all those areas. So the UN base is right there because it monitors all those areas. And right now, what do you have? You have Museveni jumping in bed with China. And what is China doing? China is not doing it the American way. China, they do not, just like America. America finances the budget, the military budget of Uganda, but what does it expect? It expects the soldiers or the army in Uganda to be able to keep law and order in all these other areas. They don't have much in return. They need, but what does China do? When China jumps in bed with you, you have to give in either your airport, you have to give in, you've seen countries like Zambia that have, there's a country that lost their police because it was mortgaged to the Chinese. So China does not come in with open arms. China comes in with I think you've seen, recently I saw a picture of a Chinese lady doing mobile money in Uganda. Why are they doing mobile money in Uganda, in a country where Ugandans are jobless? You have Chinese that are doing, they are selling pancakes and all that. Okay. So China does not come in, let me finish up a little bit. China does not come in with open arms. And the fact that President Museveni, basically President Museveni, you may not know it publicly, is already starting facing sanctions from America, that is not receiving the money they used to receive, because money comes with accountability. They will ask, because of the too much corruption happening in Uganda, these guys are stealing money and they're not giving back accountability to the American government, so it's affecting them. So it is easy right now, because President Museveni is jumping in bed with the Chinese because he can get money from them, and maybe slowly wants to kick out the Americans. But I'm telling you, it's not going to be an easy ride for President Museveni to kick out the Americans. They've done so lot, of which their money has been lost in either in form of corruption, in form of so many things that have been happening in Uganda. And some of these countries, like America and all the Western world, are the countries that respect and treasure human rights. Right. So they are not going to allow and see Ugandans. If Ugandans can really come up and stand on the front and say they're really, really fighting for the change they want, definitely they'll get the help from the Western world.
All right, so Richard, I want you to finish up with this.
Okay.
Jacob Olanya, in addition to what you're going to say, Jacob Olanya asks European Union known to deny officials from Uganda visa. So I want you to finish up with that.
Yes,
we'll be out
because that's what we call a general international sanction on Uganda. Who is going to suffer? We or them? That have stolen so much money. I'm going to finish this. I think you people must know that the times that we are living in, the world as before communism and capitalism are fighting again for global influence. That's why Putin is fighting so much to have bases and Chinese in Africa. And America is trying to make sure that it gets back what it deserves for the global control. Right now, if Uganda is going to build a nuclear facility in Uganda on behalf of the Russians, that means the Russian troops are going to come into Uganda. Are you Ugandans ready to have the same system as in Russia or as in China with occupation? Or it's time to fight when the Americans are fighting with us to make sure that Museveni gets out of power, and all the agreement he has made with the Chinese, all the agreements he has made with the Russians of putting Uganda into a nuclear facility where people in Busoga cannot even take out jiggers in their feet.
All right,
I'm analyzing. So, are we ready to have a Uganda with nuclear like North Korea? Or we want freedom?
I'm going to take you from there. So guys,
so we have to wake up and participate so that we kick out Museveni out of office now.
All right, so guys, I want to thank you so much. Sarah, I want to thank you. Richard, I want to thank you so much. And the viewers, we appreciate all the efforts you put into watch our programs in Uganda Crossroads, and the views you send in. Really, it's hard for us to read all the comments as they come in because there's so many, and we also have direct emails and messages. So, but we always put them together and we use, come up with at least 1 or 2, 3 questions that represent most of the comments. So we want to appreciate you so much, and we ask you to always keep watching Campfire Television, keep watching Uganda Crossroads. Coming up next, your other favorite show, Love, Sex and Money. See you next Saturday. Have a great week. Don't forget this. Politics will always be there, but if you're poor, you'll always be managed. If you're rich, you'll always have a better hand to make decisions in your country. Have a good week.